Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to talk about how we can download and install Postman into our computer. So Postman is basically used for designing, testing and documenting APIs. So it actually facilitates API testing where user can send requests and analyze responses. So let's see how we can download Postman into our computer. So first of all, we have to go to the official site postman.com, and after that we have to go to the download section, and from here we can download the Postman. We have to just click on this button and you can see we have completed the download, and here is our downloaded file. So we have to open this. Now here we can create one free Postman account using the email, or we can log in. And this will lead us to this browser. From here we can just sign in with Google, or also we can use the username and password. So I will continue with the Google account and I'll choose the account. So after the login and authentication, this link will reopen Postman with the logged in user account. So here we have successfully installed Postman on our computer. So let's now have an overview of the Postman. So let's just talk about different features and UI of the Postman. So this is a web version of the Postman. So we're on the website. So either we can install this application or we can use the web version. So both of them have the same UI. For convenience, we're gonna use the web version in this tutorial. So this is the home UI of Postman. So here you can see we have this header, we have this sidebar. So first of all, let's take a look at the header. So first of all, we have this home. So we're currently on the home page, and then we have this workspaces and then API networks, and after that we have this search bar. So here we can search across all of Postman. So we can search for any value. We can search for the all of Postman, or we can search for any workspace, collection, request, APIs, flows and teams. So we have to click on that and we can search specific to that category. And after that we have this settings button, so we can access and modify the settings. And after that we have these notifications. Then here we have this manage accounts. So from here we can log in to the Postman, we can sign out, we can add multiple accounts and switch between them. And after this we have this upgrade. So currently we are using the free version of Postman, so we can upgrade to some paid version also. And here we have this drop down. From here we can create one free team, and also because this is one free account, so we have the limitations of APIs, we have the storage limitations, and here we have so many other links. So let's now see how we can create one workspace. So for this we have to click on the workspaces, and from here we can either search for any specific workspace or we can create one workspace. So we have to click on create workspace. So here we have different templates. So for now we're just gonna create one blank workspace and then click on next. And here we have to give one name to the workspace. So we're gonna call it users workspace. And here it says who can access your workspace. So we can set the visibility of our workspace. So we can make it personal, only the owner can see. Also we can make it private, we can make it partner, so with the team visibility, everyone from the team can view this workspace. And also we can make it public so that everyone on the internet can see that. So for now we're gonna make it public and then click on create, and this will create our workspace. So this is the UI of the workspace. So here you can see we have this header that we have talked earlier, and here we have this sidebar, so we can increase the size and decrease. And this is our main work area. This is also called the builder. Here we do all of the request and response, and at the bottom we have this status bar. So here in the header you can see we have so many different options. So let's just explore settings. So you have to click on settings and then click on settings. So here you can see we have so many settings we can customize. So first of all, under general, here we can modify the request. So we can have the response format detection. Either we can set it auto, we can make it JSON. So here we have the request timeout. So this is currently 0, so there will not be any timeout. So we can set any timeout in milliseconds. And after this we have the working directory. So we can set our working directory, and under this header, so here we can send no case header, we can have automatically follow redirect, we can have Postman token header, and under the user interface we can remove tabs, we can always open sidebar in the new tab. Also we can customize the 2-pane view, and then under the editor settings here we can set our font size, so we can increase the font size. We can set the font family here, and under the application we can select the language, so currently this is English, and also we can set the autosave on or off. So here under the theme section we can select the system default, or we can make it lighter theme, we can make it dark theme. And here we have all the shortcuts that we can use, and then we have the data, we have add-on, certificate, proxy, and we can have about the Postman. So these are all the settings. So let's now talk about this sidebar. So here in the sidebar we have this name of our workspace, and then we have the collection, environment, history, and also we can configure the sidebar. So we can add so many, like we can add the APIs, we can add the monitors, we can add the mock servers, and all of these options will be added. So we can customize our sidebar, and also we can resize our sidebar. We can make it bigger and smaller. And let's now talk about the status bar. In the bottom we have the status bar. At the left you can see we can collapse our sidebar, or we can expand our sidebar. And then we have this online. So here it shows that we are in sync. That means all of our data in the workspace are backed on the server. And then we have the console, so we can open up our console from that button. And after that we have this runner, we have the cookies, trash. Here we can switch between 2-pane view and the single pane view. And after that we have this help section. So here we can download the desktop app, we can have access to the documentation, support, security, and so many other stuff. We can access the keyboard shortcuts. And let's now talk about this main working area, also called the builder. From here we can send get or post request with the URL. So here we can set the parameters and so many stuff. So this is our main working area. We can switch between 2-pane and the single pane view, so you can see the difference. So now we're gonna see how we can create our first API request in Postman. So here we're under this user workspace, and now to create one API request we have to click on this plus button, and this will open up this request response pane. So currently this is one single pane view, and we can switch between the single pane and the 2-pane view. So in 2-pane we have the response here and the request here, and here you can see first of all we can choose the method. So the method can be get, post, put, patch, delete, and then here we have to put the API. So for this we're gonna use some fake APIs. So inside this fake store.api we have this products API. So this is one get method API, so we're gonna copy this. So you can see this is our API endpoint, so we're gonna copy that and then paste it here. So we're gonna use one get request to this API, and here under this params tab we can add parameters to this request. So we can add some key like page, and then value can be 1. So you can see we have this parameter page 1. This way we can add multiple parameters. Here we can show and hide columns, and also we can use the bulk edit. So we can add so many different parameters using this bulk edit also. For now this is one simple request, so we're not gonna use any parameters, so we're gonna delete that. And after this we have this authorization. So this is basically used for any kind of authorization, like we have the basic auth, we have OAuth. Currently this is one simple request, so we're gonna select no auth because we do not need any kind of authorization. And after this we have these headers. So here we have so many different key value pairs that we can use for the header. And also here also we can hide some columns, we can also use the bulk edit also. And here also we have presets. So here we can add some preset, and then we can use that later whenever we record. And next we have a body. So inside the body we can pass data to the server. So currently this is one get request, so we do not need to send any data, so we have chosen none. And next we have the pre-request script. So this is basically one validation script that we can use before the API request. So here we have so many different snippets that we can use. So we have to click on that, and the snippet will be added to the pre-request script. For now we do not need that, so we're gonna remove this. So next we have the test. So here we can perform some test after the API request. So here we have so many different snippets that we can use. So we're gonna use this status code. This is one test where it checks whether the status code is 200 or not. So whenever we receive the request, the test will run and it will produce the result. After we have these settings, so here we can have so many different settings. We can enable SSL certificate, we can follow authorization header, we can enable the script HTTP parser. For now this is one simple request, so we do not need that. So once that is done, so here we can just simply click on send, and here you can see we have this response. So here in the body we have the response. This is one pretty response. Basically this is just beautified so that we can easily read our response, and also we can see the data in the raw format also. This is little hard to read, and here also we have this cookies. So if we receive any cookies, that will be shown right here, and also we can send cookies from here also. And here we have the header response. So here we have the content type, here we have the date, and so many other responses. And next we have the test result. So this is basically the test that we performed here. Because the status code is 200, so that's why it is saying that the test is passed. So here also it shows the network details, and here it shows the status code which is 200, so the response is successful. Here it shows the time it takes and also the breakdown of the time. And next it shows the response size, body, header size, and also the request size also. And also we can save our request. So for this you have to click on save, and here we have to name our request. So we're gonna call it get product, and also here also we have to put the collection name, and then click on save. And here you can see under these collections we have this get product request, and also we can check all the API requests that we have done from the history also. So here it shows all the requests that we have done. Hey, what's up guys, in this video we're going to talk about how we can create one post request in Postman. So for this you have to click on this plus button, and this will open. So here you have the request and the response pane. So from here we can choose the method. So we have so many different methods. So for now we're going to choose this post method. So the post API request is a way to send data to a server to create or update something. So it's like submitting a form online where you send your information to the server. So here we have to paste the URL. So here inside the RESTful API.dev we have one post request API, and this is one sample data that we have to send to this API endpoint. And in response we're gonna get the response code 200 with this data where we have the ID and also the creation date. So let's copy this API, and then we're gonna paste this here. And here we have so many different options. Here we can select our parameters. So we can add key and value, and the key and value will be added at the end of our API. So for now we don't need this, so we're gonna delete this. And next we have this authorization. So here we can set the authorization. So because this is one simple API, we do not need any authorization. And in the header we have so many key value pairs. And now inside the body, because we are using the post request, so we must send this data to the server. So we're gonna place our data inside the body. So we have to click on raw, and here we're just gonna copy paste this data. So here is our data inside the body. Now from here we can choose the type of the data. So for now this is JSON. And next we have the pre-request script. So here we can place some script which will be executed before the API request. And also we have test. So here we can put our test snippet. This will be executed after the response. Like an example, we can put this snippet. So this will check if the status code is 200 or not. So now to send the request you have to click on this send button. And here you can see we have the response. This is our response pane. And inside the body we have the response where we have the ID and the name of the product and the creation date, and then the data about the product. And also we can see this in raw format also. And also we have these cookies, headers, and the test result. So we have performed one test right here, and the result is shown right here. So that is passed the test because the status code is 200. And also here it shows the time taken for the request response, and also the size of the response. And also we can save our post request. So we have to click on this save, and here we can select the collection that we wanted to save into, and we're gonna name it post API, and then click on save. So you can see our post request is saved under this collection. And also we can go to history, and here we can see all the requests performed so far. So this is the way we can create one post request to an API, and we can send the data by placing that under the body. Hey, what's up guys, in this video we're going to talk about how we can create put and patch request in Postman. So currently we are working under this user workspace. So now to create one new request, we click on this plus button, and here from the drop down we can select the method we can select either put or patch. So both of these methods are used to update data on the server, and their basic difference is, so in case of put, we use to update the entire resource or to create a new one if it does not exist. So it basically replaces the entire resource with the new data provided in the request. So here in this case, so the user 2 will be completely updated with this new name and job. So where in case of patch, we can update only specific fields within the existing resource. So either we can update the name or even we can update the job. So first of all, let's talk about this put method. So we're gonna copy this URL for the user 2. So we're gonna paste this here, and then we have to send the data to the server. So under this body, we have to send some data. So we're gonna click on raw, and then here we can update the name and the job. So the name can be John and the job can be doctor. So this entire data will replace the existing data on the server. So now we have to click on send, and here we have the status OK. So our data, name and job is updated, and here also we have the updation time. So let's now save this into our collection. So we're gonna call it put user. So you can see under this new collection we have this put user. Now suppose we wanted to update only the name or the job of the user. So in that case, instead of using put, we can use the patch request, and we can update the name only. So the name can be Sam. And now if we click on send, so here you can see we have the status OK. So the name is successfully updated, and here we have the updation time. So let's just see how we can create one delete request in Postman. So for this we have to click on this plus button, and it will open this new tab, and from here we can select so many different methods. So we can select this delete method. So the delete method is basically used to remove a specific resource from the server. Like we can delete a file, or even we can delete any database entry. Like in example here, we have this sample delete request response. So you can see as a request, we can pass any resource, and as a response, it will return this status code. So here we are trying to delete this user with the ID 2. So we're gonna copy this and we're gonna paste this here. So here we are basically wanted to delete this user with the ID 2, and because we wanted to delete that, so we are using this delete method. And here we have so many different parameters, but we don't need to use them because we wanted to delete that user only. So we have to click on send. So here you can see as a response we are getting this status code 204, and it also shows the time taken for the response and the size of the response, but we're not getting any data as a response because of course we are deleting the user only. So we have successfully deleted the user with the ID 2 using this delete method. So now let's just save this. So we're gonna call this delete user. So let's just talk about collections in Postman. So here we're on the web version of the Postman. So here we are inside this user workspace. Now you can see we have previously created this collection. So collections are basically used to help organize related API requests so that we can make them reusable, and also it facilitates automation through the test script, and also it can serve as a documentation for all the APIs. So to create one collection we have to click on this plus button, and here we can create one blank collection, or we can create one from the templates also. So we're gonna create one blank collection. So first of all we can name our collection. So we're gonna call this demo collection, and also we have so many different options, like an example authorization. So we can set one common authorization for all the APIs under this collection. So here you can see we have this basic auth, OAuth. So we can choose from these authorizations, and also we can set pre-request script which will be executed before the API request. So here we have so many snippets that we can use, and also we can add test for all the APIs under this collection, and also we can set variables. So here we can have the variable, the initial value and the current value also, and then here you have 3 dots. So if we click on that, see we have so many different options also. So we can share our collection. So here you can see we can share our collection, and here is your shareable link, and also we can move this collection to other workspace, and also we can run all the API requests under this collection. So here if we click on run collection for this new collection, so from here we can run all of the API requests which is under this collection. here we can run manually or we can schedule the run, and also we can configure the run. We can set the iterations, set the delay, we can select the file, and if we click on this run new collection, so you can see all of these API requests are running one after another. So here you can see we have the summary of all the requests, and also we have option to edit this. So here we can just directly add one new request, and then we can select the method and we can put the URL. So we can directly create and add one request under this collection, and also we can add folders. So under the collection we can create folders, and then we can add API request inside that folder. This way we can better organize related APIs under one collection. We can create mock collection, we can create a fork. That means we can create a copy of the collection and we can make changes to that. That way our original collection will not be affected. And also we can view the documentation, we can rename our collection, and also importantly we can export. So we can export our collection as a JSON file, and at the end we have this delete. So we can delete our collection, so we have to click on delete. So the collection along with all the API will be deleted, and then we can restore that also. So we have to open trash, and from here we can restore our collection back to our workspace. So you can see our demo collection is now back into our workspace. So let's just talk about variables in Postman. So variables are basically placeholders that can hold dynamic values, and they are very useful for creating flexible and reusable API request. So here we're inside the user workspace. Now here we have one collection with so many requests. Now if we look at the request, you can see this first part of all the requests have the same URL. So instead of repeating this across so many requests, we can create one variable of that, and this way whenever we need to change that, we can very easily do that from one place. And now there are different levels of variable that we can create. We can create very high level environment variable or global variable. Also we can create variables that are at the collection level from here, and also we can create local variables inside the script and test. So let's now create one variable from this common URL. To create one collection level variable, you have to click on the collection, and here you can see we have variables tab. So click on that. So let's just give a name to the variable. So we're gonna call it demo, and then we have to paste the URL. So this is one variable which exists in the collection level. That means we can use that variable across all the requests inside that collection. So we can go inside any request, and now here we can replace this common part with the variable name. So we have to use double curly braces, and inside that we can use our variable name, and you can see this variable is resolving to this URL. If we click on send, so you can see the response is working properly. And the benefit of using this variable is reusability. That means we can use this across all of our requests, and whenever we need to make any changes to the URL, we can directly do that from one location. We can make the change right here, and that will be reflected across all the requests. And also all of these variables have priorities. So the local variables, that means the variables we use inside the script and test locally, they will have higher priority over the global variables. Now in Postman we can set and get variables in different levels or scopes. We can do them in the collection level. So here under this test and the script we can create our variables, and also we can do it under any request. We can use the script or test to get or set variable. Now let's see how we can set variables. So for this you have to write PM stands for Postman, and then we can create global variables. So we have to write pm.globals.set, and then it takes two parameters. First one is the key and the second one is the value. So we can pass the key as X and the value can be like global. So now if we save and run this, so here basically we have created one variable called X with the value global. So because this is one global variable, so it will be visible under the global variable. So you can see we have the variable X with the value global. So we can create a variable at the collection level. So we have to write pm.collectionVariables.set. So here also we can create one variable X with the value collection. So now if we save and run this. So here we have created one variable x at the collection level. So to see the variable, we have to go to the collection, and here under the variables, so you can see we have the variable x with the value collection. And also we can create a variable at the environment level. So currently we are not under any environment. So first of all, we have to create one environment. So we have to click add, and let's just call this env1, and then choose the environment from the drop down. Let's just create one variable at the environment level. So we have to write postman dot environment dot set. So the variable is x and the value can be environment, and let's just save this and run this. So you can see under this environment we have the variable x with the value environment. Similarly also we can create local variables. So for this you have to write pm dot variables dot set. So the variable is x and the value is local. So we have to save and run again. So you can see everything is working fine. So we have successfully created all of these variables at different levels. So let's now see how we can get the value of these variables at different levels. So to get the global variable, we have to write pm dot globals dot get, and we have to pass the name of the variable like x, and because this will return the value of this global variable x, now we can console log directly to the console. So we can write console log, and if we save and run this, so now you can see under this console we have the output as global. And also to get the variable from the collection level, we have to write pm dot collection variable dot get, and then the name of the variable. Similarly also we can access the environment variable. So we have to write pm dot environment dot get and then the variable name. And also to access the local variable, we have to write pm dot variables dot get, and we have to pass the name of the variable. And also we can use this same command to access variable at any scope based on their priority. So first of all, local variables have the highest priority, then the environment variables that are located here, and then the collection variables that are located under the collection. At last we have the priority for the global variables. And also we can remove or unset variables. So for this we have to write pm dot, so suppose we wanted to remove the global variable, so we have to write pm dot globals dot unset, and here we have to pass the name of the variable. And if we save and run, so you can see under this global there is no variables left because we have removed the variable x from the global scope. So let's just talk about how we can create script in Postman. So first of all, let's go to our user workspace. Now inside our workspace we can create script in different levels. So we can create our script at the collection level. So if we click on collection, so here you can see we have pre-request script. So the script will right here will be executed before the request, and we have the test script. So this script will be executed after the request, and this is at the collection level. And also if we create one folder inside that collection, so if we click on this folder, at the folder level we can have our pre-request script and also the test script. And also we can have script for every individual request also. So if we click on this delete user request, so here we can have our pre-request script. This will be executed before the call. And also we have test script, so this will be executed after the request. So here you can see we have some snippets. So we can add get a variable script, so this will get a value of this variable. Similarly also we can have set a variable, and also we can clear global variable, and also we can add script that will check the status code of the response. So let's just talk about environments in Postman. So environments are basically provides a way to manage variables specific to different development or testing environment. So let's just see how we can create multiple environment and then switch between them. So here currently you can see we do not have any environment. So first of all, let's just create one. So here we have to click on add. Now we have to assign one name to the environment. So I'm going to call it QA environment. Now here we can have multiple variables under this environment. So we can create one variable username, and the value can be QA user. Similarly also we can create another password, and the value can be QA password. We have to click on save. Now from the drop down we have to select that environment. So currently we are working under this environment. Now under this environment we can access these variables. So suppose we are working in the delete user request. Now in the test we can console log those variables. So we can access pm.variables.get, and here we can access the username and also the password. So now if we run this, so here under this console you can see the username and the password are logged onto the console, and that is because we are currently working under this QA environment. Now let's just create another environment where we can have these variables but with a different value. So for this we have to similarly click on add button, and here we're gonna call this reg environment. So similarly also here we can have the variable username and the value is reg user, and also we can have the password and the password is reg password, and then click on save. So we have created another environment reg where we have the same username password but with a different value, and here in the drop down you can see we can select from multiple environment. So currently we're going to select the reg environment. Now under this environment these variables will have a different value. So now if we run this same request in the console, we have a different username and password, and that is because of this environment. So this way we can select and switch between multiple environment, and we can have different value for the same variable. And also we can delete any environment. So suppose you wanted to delete the QA environment, so we have to select that and then click on edit, and here we have three dots, so we have to click on that, and at the end you can see we can delete our environment. So we have to click on delete. So our environment is successfully deleted. So this is the way we can create multiple environment and we can switch between them, and this will streamline the testing workflow. So let's just see how we can debug in Postman. So here we are under this user workspace and we have so many requests inside this collection. Now let's just see we are making one GET request. So if we click on send, so here you can see we have the response, and here is the response status. Now to debug this request response we have to go to the console. So here in the bottom left corner we have this console, and here you can see request API, and here we can get all the details about that request. We can see the network detail. Here we have the request header, and also we have the response header, and also we can see the response body. So if we click on that, we can see this inside this editor. Now from here we can copy our response, or also we can search in our response body. And not just this, we can use the console log. So inside the test we can use the console log to log something into the console. So we can write console.log to log something on the console, and also we can use console.info to print some info on the console, and also we can use console.warn to print some warning on the console, and also we can use console.error to print some error on the console. So now if we run this, so the request and the response is working properly. Now if we look into our console, so you can see along with this request URL we also have all the console logs. So you can see we have the console log, we have the console.info, we have the console warning and the console errors. So let's just talk about data driven testing in Postman. So we'll basically see how we can get data from our external JSON or CSV file directly into our request. So here we have one post request. So in the post request we send the name and job, and in return as a response we got the name and job. So we're basically going to perform some test to check the name in the request is same as the name in the response. So here instead of writing the name we're gonna use the name variable, and similarly for the job also we're gonna use the job variable. Now these variables will not came from the environment or the global variables, they will came from the external JSON or CSV file. So let's just create one external JSON file. So the JSON file will have the name property, and the name can be Sam and the job can be like doctor. So we're gonna create another entry. So let's just copy paste, and here the name can be John and the job can be lawyer. So we have created one JSON with two entries. Now we're gonna use this name and job directly into our request as a variable, and then we're gonna perform some test. So the name of the test will be verify name, and then we have to write response body dot hatch data dot name. So we are basically checking if the response body has the same name. So here the data dot name refers to the name in the JSON file. Similarly, also we can verify the job also. So we're gonna call this verify job, and we're gonna check if the response body has the same job. So here the data.job refers to the job in the JSON file. So let's now run this. So we have to click on this three dot beside the new collection and then click on run collection. So here you can see we have so many requests. We are only going to run this post request. Here you have to select the data file. So we're gonna select the data.json file. And you can see automatically the iteration changed to 2 because we have 2 entries inside our JSON. And also we can see the preview of the JSON file. So you can see we have 2 iterations and we have the name and the job. And now we have to click on run new collection. So you can see both of the test has been passed. That means the name in the request and the name in the response are verified as same. So this is the way we can get the data from external JSON or CSV file into our request, and we can perform test over that data. So let's just talk about authorization in Postman. So whenever we create one new request, we can add authorization to that request. And authorizations can be of many types. This can be no auth, can be basic auth, can be bearer token, can be OAuth, and we have so many different types of authorizations that we can choose from based on the API requirement. And also we can add these authorizations in different levels. We can add the authorization to every individual request. Also we can add this authorization to any folder. So here you can see we can add the authorization to the folder level, and also we can add the authorization to collection level also. So here you can see we can add the authorization to the collection level. So the authorization will be applied to all the requests inside that collection. So we are creating one GET request to get the repository of any GitHub user. Now we cannot just randomly access any user's GitHub repos. We need authorizations for that. So here you can see we have the status 401 unauthorized. That means to access the repos of any GitHub user, we need authorization. So under the authorizations tab, from the drop down we can select the bearer token, and here we must paste the token of that user. Now let's see how we can create one GitHub token. So inside the GitHub we have to go to settings, and then we have to scroll down and click on developer setting. And here under this personal access token we can select this token classic, and then we have to click on generate new token. So we can add one node to the token, test authorization. We can set the expiration date. So here we can select the scope of the token, so it will have access to only the public repositories. And then we have to click on generate token. So here is our access token, so we have to copy this and then we have to paste it here. So we have set our authorization token. Now if we send the request, you can see we have the response. So here the status is 200 OK, so our response is successful. And here is the response body containing all the public repositories of the user. And also if we do not want to use this access token directly, so instead of this token we can use one variable. We can use one variable like token, and then we can create the variable. So we can create one variable like token, and the value can be that access token. And then you have to save this, and after that if we make the API request, so we are getting the successful response with the status code 200 OK. So this is the way we can add different authorizations to API request in Postman. So hope you understand the concept. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.